Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Sunday evening. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as season. I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Sunday evening, guys. So guys, before I start, you might hear my doorbell ring. Just ignore it. Tune it out for a second, please. Hopefully the phone will behave itself. I don't know. But I was I was emailing someone. And as I was emailing this person, I got some downloads in my spirit. So I figured I would piggyback off of that. And I wanted to share it here on YouTube. So basically, this individual is going through a very, 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 very difficult time. She has been in a isolation season / transformation season for about 3.5 years now. She got a spiritual awakening. God said he got some great things for her, including a kingdom spouse. In fact, her destiny, she said, is connected. God reveals to her that her destiny is connected to her kingdom spouse. And, but she's going through the fire and she can't understand, why would God give me this awakening? Why am I going through so much pain, so much despair, so much frustration, so many delays, all within this process? I don't understand. Why would God awaken me just to leave me? And she's ready to turn back, etc., etc. All right, so what I really want to speak on is the importance of allowing God to process you. This where I think a lot of, not the people who email me, a lot of people are in this process. And I think what can be so frustrating about the process is that you don't know how long more you have to be within that process. So there's no time limit. Nobody can say, okay, you have 2 more months, you have another week, right? A lot of that depends on, first and foremost, only God knows, but a lot of that is going to depend on how much God needs to process, as well as you're submitting to the process versus going against everything that God is trying to do, which will ultimately delay your process. So I'm going to speak about 16 things. You guys already know how I go with numbers, right? It's 16. It may turn to 20. I don't know. I'm going to try to count, but just bear with me here. But I just wanted to share this here. Okay. Sis, I know you're going to hear this as well. When you had your spiritual awakening, you heard the voice of God and you decided to follow God. It was crucial for him to place you in isolation, because that's how he's going to give you all of your information. This is how you discovered everything that God has for you, because throughout that difficult isolation season, God revealed to you all the things that you know now. He just revealed it to you, though. He didn't say it would be tomorrow, right? It would be great if that's the process, but typically he reveals it to you to keep you consistent, to keep you motivated, because he knows times are going to get very, very, very difficult within that process. So within that process alone, God has to heal you, right? God has to prune you of people, places, things, mindsets, right? You're going to feel raw. You're going to feel naked, right? God's going to start revealing all kind of things to you, like a lot of the things that you saw growing up, the way your father dealt with your mother, or even vice versa. All these things was never right. Well, see, the Holy Spirit is a teacher, so the Holy Spirit is revealing this stuff to you, because think about it. In your case, that was your case. That's all you saw, was a really toxic mother, emasculating her husband, just being very, whatever you describe. A father who was just trifling, not a great provider. So, and then you stated that you don't have great examples, because that's pretty much what everybody in that particular neighborhood did. Your friends didn't have anything better than what you've experienced in their households. So think about it. If you never seen an example of a healthy relationship or marriage, then how could you know when one presents itself to you? In fact, you're going to run from it, because it's the complete opposite of what you're used to feeling, right? It's going to feel foreign to you, so you're not going to want to have a part of that. So this is why the Holy Spirit have to reveal certain things to you. Let that be examples of individuals he will place in your path once you have your spiritual awakening. There are certain things that he will just download in your spirit to make you feel like this is not right. In fact, this has never been right. But now I really know that I'm not going to do it this way. This is not right, right? Marriages can be happy. Marriages can be, yes, it's a smaller amount of individuals, but I would rather take my chance and do it that way than to sit here and be miserable for a lifetime just to say I married, right? So these are different things that will start to be revealed to you, and you experience these things. I want to say too, before I start with these 16 things, please also be aware that the same way God is currently working on you, pruning you, and you're going through this fire, well, there's a great chance the same thing is going on with your kingdom spouse, right? There's two people here. When God brings people together, he's bringing together two whole individuals. So this individual have this, the same type of trauma as yourself, or maybe even more, who knows, certain demons, right? That God has to process. So think about your process. You have delays, you have frustrations, you have this, that, and that, right? Then they're going through that as well, if God is going to bring it together. So even if you've already mastered your process, on the other side, God may still be working, and vice versa. Who knows? Maybe one person don't even need to be processed, whatever. But the point I'm making there is that God needs to do what God needs to do on both ends. There are people probably in your territory that God has to move, right? When God brings things together, people, places, or things, it's going to be attack times 10. So God have to build a solid foundation. Also, when you really work for something versus someone give you something very easily, right? Think about, I don't know, when you graduated from school and your parents gave you your first car, right? You didn't really appreciate and respect that car probably now how you respect a car that you had to really work hard for, right? So when you work hard for something, you respect it more. You don't leave it so easily as if somebody just gave you something and you don't have to go through the fire for it. Process. Sorry guys. Process is fire. All caps. Fire. So you will get through this fire, right? Many people turn back, but you're not. You're going to get through this fire. All right, so let's start with 16 things. Again, I may add a few more, I don't know, that God may be revealing to you and God may be doing right now while you're in this process. And what is taking so long? All right, number one. Again, he's revealing to you generational cycles, generational curses. He will start to awaken you that, again, a lot of the things you saw was not it. So at some point, you might have had the mindset like, I'm going all this other stuff, emasculating your man. You may have been okay with that at some point because you didn't know any better. But now you don't even want to do that. You don't even have a desire to do that. It's more like, if I got to do that, I don't even want, right? So he starts to really awaken you to feel completely opposite of the things you've been exposed to or things that you've learned along the way. Number two, he's starting to send you examples. And I said some of this earlier. I kind of just work with me here. Starting to show you examples of healthy marriages, healthy relationships, again, or the Holy Spirit may just teach you and reveal certain things to you, but he may be putting physical examples right in your face. And anyway, number three, you're definitely going into a single season if you are not, right? And that can be isolation as well, but single is just, listen, in the single season, right, there's things that God has to reveal to you. He has to have you regurgitate some things that you may have buried, These can look like childhood traumas. These can look like molestations. These can look like physical abuse. These can look like abandonment from parents who were crackheads and didn't feed you, and all kind of stuff that could have caused all type of demons. Because you know that the enemy, if you have like a big destiny on your life and God is going to really use you, the enemy attack you early. This is why a lot of people who are chosen, or a lot of people, you've either been bullied, you've been molested, you've been what's the word Pastor Blake used when people like abandoned, ostracized, whatever. Like there's, you just been fighting all your life. Period. The enemy started early with you because he knew the type of life that God will have you to live. And this is why, again, a lot of you are really going through so much, because even though certain things are not your fault, God still have to process you from these things in order for you to be purified enough to receive the pure blessings in which he has for you. Number 4, he is breaking off those soul ties. Again, that can be narcs that you have. So narc is a whole nother thing, honey. That's a whole process in itself. So if you've ever encountered a narc, your processing is going to be probably longer, because that's a whole process within itself. Just being healed from narc abuse. That's in addition to the other things that God may have to work on you with. But God will start to reveal to you, hey, you got a soul tie, right? You may not have been able to really put a label on what this thing is and why you just, what is going on? I don't even like you, and I can't leave you, right? So it's like God will start opening your eyes. He's removing the scales off of your eyes about relationships that it was never even love. It was never even God, right? It was never even God. So when God starts to really reveal certain things to you, it's for a reason. Number 5, God is going to start, a lot of you are going through this now, because I saw your comments on the community post. God is going to start revealing and breaking up controlling spirits. See, a lot of the times when you meet people who are very controlling, not just people who are conditioned because they're always having to be in some type of leadership or stewardship type thing, but more so less is trauma driven. Okay, so if you've been in survivor mode all your life, right, you have to protect yourself all your life. Right, you got a father who's beating your mom upside the head every night. Right, you got kids who are bullying you. You got just everything. Right. Okay, so the point is you didn't feel safe, and that's your core. That's your foundation. So that planted the seed. So a lot of the times when you see people who are very controlling, they're trying to control the narrative so they feel safe within it, if that makes sense. So your control was stripped early on in different ways. You could have been violated, molested. Okay, they took your control, right? Your parents were crazy, so you got to control the situation. You got to control what makes you feel safe. I can go in my bed and hide. I can go in the room and hide under the bed. I can go in the closet and just cover my ear. Like you had to control things in order to feel safe. Okay, but no one ever got you help. You never went to see a therapist. You just grew up, and then you encounter more toxic people. So really, that control factor is really not that you're a controlling person. You are, but you're not. Right? You got to be careful about letting people put labels on you. Okay, you have a controlling spirit, but why? So even with these toxic relationships, when men rise up against you and say things like, oh, it's because you don't feel safe. You don't feel safe. So within this process, this is what God is going to really, really reveal. This, child, go ahead and get your edge growth oil. Get your, whatever y'all use for receding hairlines. I don't even know what men use. I don't. If you've ever been traumatized in a way to hold on to some type of control to make yourself feel safe, this is going to be very triggering for you. And somebody's coming to mind right now because they actually commented on the community post and said this, but they're popping up in my head now when I say this. Within your season of process, it's not, see, God is so gentle. It's not like God is going to just take your control and leave you feeling like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be attacked by wolves. God will gently reveal to you that you have this spirit. Then he will teach you how to trust him, right? But even within that process, he's going to be using physical things where you can't control the narrative. So that can look like something on your job. He's going to start taking control from you, and you're going to feel like you're drowning or something, fighting for your life. But what he's doing is he's teaching you to take that control and put it into his hands where it's safe. Because it's really not safe in your hands. It's safe in his hands. So if God is really dealing with you about controlling spirits, be prepared, because some great things are coming your way. If you can just trust him in all, this is all the process now, right? Each one of these things is a process. This is why the process takes so long. Next, he's dealing with you with forgiveness. He can't be sending you a wife, the wife he has for you, if you still hate your ex because she cheated on you when y'all was 19. Because men can people can hold on to things for a long time, but honey, men, I don't know what it is about men, but honey, they will hate you for a lifetime. They'll hold on to that hurt. If you've been like the first person who hurt them, honey, women, we be in our feelings, and we eventually get over it, and we let things go. Or maybe we don't. I don't know. I know I do. But either which way, he's really dealing with you with forgiveness. And this can look like forgiving a parent. This can look like forgiving that friend in 3rd grade who betrayed you and went out with the girls who didn't like you. Anything that you've ever harbored resentment and hurt, and even though you felt like, oh, that was 3rd grade, but if that thing is still in you just a little bit, when you see this girl, you still want to side-eye her, and it's 95 years later, right? God will, he doesn't have to use the very person that, so I'm trying to say what I feel here. So let's just say your father abandoned you, and you had some hate, you developed some hate and resentment towards him. Well, you may not have access to your father. One of you guys commented in the comment section and said, well, what do you do if the person has already transitioned, right? Well, forgiveness is about you. So you don't need the person to be alive for you to forgive them. So God may use somebody on your job who just, you might have a little disdain for or whatever. And he may start convicting you to say, all right, I need you to go make this thing right. And you're like, no, right? But he will really start convicting you to go and make amends, and he'll tell you how to do it. But he will use that situation right there to really help you to understand how the process of forgiveness works. Again, God will start convicting you to do things. So whatever the thing is, the area he's working on, when he convicts you to do it, you got to do it, regardless if you want to. And again, this is where a lot of people is missing it, and why their process is being even longer, because it's just like you just want to be disobedient to God. You can be disobedient all you want, but you're not going anywhere. I'm going to tell you that now. You are not going anywhere until you submit to what it is that God is trying to do in your life. Number 8, patience, right? I am proud to say that I've passed every single test that I've been through to date. Somebody was in the store today and had about 3,000 items in her buggy, and honey, but I stood there and I smiled, and I was so proud of myself. This has been a 15-year test for me. I failed miserably every day, all day, for 3 years straight. Year 15, I'm about 90%, and I'm very proud of myself. It took a long time to get here, but God will not promote me in certain areas, and I know this because he had made it clear to me. It's just so hard. It's right. It's one thing to say, right? Because people, a friend of mine said this to me the other day. He was like, "Kizzy, I don't understand. You're going through this patient test every day. Just pass the test." And I'm like, well, dude, If it was that easy, I would have passed it 15 years ago. See, it's easy to say something because that's not your area of struggle. But let's talk about your flesh struggle, right? Isn't that easy? So we all have our different stuff. So, but the point is, regardless if it's difficult, you got to do it. Regardless if it takes you 15 years, phone, please stop. Regardless if it takes you 15 years to get to the place where you have a firm foundation on it, it takes 15 years. But you got to do it. You got to keep doing it, because with some things, God is not going to allow you to get to the next level until you master certain things. And it doesn't mean you have to be perfect, right? I mean, I don't think, well, I don't know. Maybe one day I will be perfect with patience. I don't know. But I do know I'm rooted enough now that when I feel the conviction, I'll wait. I'll stay. I'll stay. Oh, God, y'all. Satan is mad, honey, because somebody need this message, but I'm sorry. Let me just go ahead now and read these things. Okay, next one, triggers. Those of you who are runners, you are the people that when you meet great people, this can look like great men, great friends, you're already sitting here accusing and making up all kind of allegations about people because these people are too safe, and you're just trying to start some drama. Honey, God is starting to really work on you with your, drop my pen, work on you with your triggers. So when you start getting triggered, he's convicting you. So that can look like you text somebody yesterday, they left you on red, honey, and ooh, honey, you're not even going to think that, listen, that person could have just been in the middle of driving, look at the text, and be like, oh, I'll text her back. I'll text him back when I get home. Got home, and everything's crazy. The kids are crazy, and they totally forgot about it. Like, seriously, they really forgot about it. Honey, the enemy up in your ear telling you they don't like you, you're stupid, you're stink. They ignored your text because you... And now you go to text back, right? I know you saw the phone, and God will convict your head off. Like, you bet not. Erase it. Don't you say anything. And the minute you're obedient, you'll be fuming, but the minute you're obedient to the instruction, the person hits you back. Like, hey, oh my goodness, I feel so bad. I got home yesterday, the kids were crazy, and I totally forgot about, oh my goodness, please forgive me. You're just like, none. If I had text this person back, it would have been a whole drama fest. So God is really working on you with your triggers, because when you've been really, really wounded, you are going to keep causing chaos. And whatever thing that God has for you in due season, these people are pure, not perfect, right? Don't say you're going to have your issues, but all that starting stuff, just because you're triggered, God is going to really, really process you. And I'm sure some of you are really going through that now. Number 10. One way that you know that you're getting very, very close is what I was saying earlier. You're fighting against everything. Well, now you're submitting to the process. So whatever God is convicting you about, if he's telling you, hey, don't text that person back because you don't know what's really going on, you're like, okay, Lord, I would love to check him, check her, but you know what? You're right. I don't know everything. You're absolutely right. Where a year ago, you'd have been fussing with God like, no, I'm going to check her because she should. So if you find yourself submitting to the process and it's getting easier, and again, that's not to say you won't pass your test. I'm sorry. That's not to say you won't fail your test. If you happen to fail your test, right, do not allow the enemy to get up in your ear, because he will. I promise you. He got in my ear for 15 years. See again. You fail again. Watch your patience. You fail again. Right? And I'm like, first of all, but let's talk about all the things I did great today. Point blank, period. Let's talk about this fearlessness, period. Let's talk about this obedience, period. Yes, you got me. Good. I failed today, but I'm going to pass tomorrow. Right? Period. Right? You got to be so determined like that. And so what? If you fail again, so what? You keep on and you keep on, but you're not trying to fail now, seriously. But God is trying to uproot something, a system, a stronghold that has been in your life for probably all of your life. So just keep trying. Don't fail 35 times and just say, you know what? I'm over it. I'm just going to be this way for the rest of my life. The devil is a lie. The devil is a lie. And don't even speak that stuff over your life. You have to speak in contrast to what the enemy is telling you. So number 11, God is teaching you the fruits of the Spirit, right? So he's teaching you joy, peace, love, patience, all that stuff. You're really starting to develop. You've always loved people. Chosen people typically always love people. We don't always like people, right? We love people, but we really don't like a lot of people. We're just, it is what it is. But there's a joy that's coming, and this too is also how you know you're getting more even close to the promise or open doors. But God is really teaching you all the fruits of the spirits. Like your good days now is so much more than your side eye days. It's like, you wake up in the morning, you're like, the joy of the Lord is my strength. Good morning, sir. So God is really, really, really has really started to process you. You've submitted to the process, and you are getting better each and every day. 13, he is really getting you solid in your purpose. One of you guys, she sent me, she makes like flowers, like sometimes even like the ones that go over like those big arches at like weddings and things like that. And she sent me these beautiful pictures, and it blows me away. I couldn't do it. That's not my portion. I would love to be able to do that. So I was just telling her, I said, I bet when you do it, you feel so fulfilled, like you feel separated from the world when you're into you're doing your purpose. And she was like, oh my goodness, I feel like I'm so childlike. And she's like, I feel like it's more, and I want to hear God more. Listen, whatever your purpose is, God is going to take that thing, and God is a big God. We limit ourselves sometimes because we question our own such and such or whatever. But God will once you start really tapping into your purpose and you're open to allow God to take it and do what he wants to do, you will be amazed, right? It started off as you just making these beautiful flower arrangements for other people right in your neighborhood. Child, please, God to have you going from country. You got celebrities calling you to make these pieces for their weddings and for this and this and that. So I always tell people, purpose is not always lights, camera, and action and on stages and running your big mouth, like my big mouth. Like, it's not. So God is really, really starting to define your purpose even more. Even if he's going to merge the purposes with your kingdom partners, but he's really, really defining your purpose. And you're getting fulfilled within that thing. Because again, it's important to be fulfilled first and foremost through God, but to be fulfilled through God within your purpose before God brings your purpose partner. You need to be fulfilled first. You need God first and foremost. Everything else is just, Next, he's working on your character, your integrity, your truth, and your principles, things like that. Let me tell you. Last week, I was supposed to refund a person. It's a business thing. I was supposed to send a refund, right? And I made a mental note, and it skipped my mind. It really, truly skipped my mind. But I got convicted of it a couple of times that day. Typically, when I'm convicted of something, I'm obedient enough to pull over and do whatever the conviction is until, because I know I'll get home and forget about it. Being petty, I just kind of forgot. Honest, not being petty, but just being distracted. I truly forgot. So a few days passed, and then I realized that something on my business end wasn't move. The numbers wasn't moving like it typically move, and I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on this weekend? That things ain't really moving, and God brought it right back to my spirit. You were supposed to refund this person. I convicted you 2 times to do it. You didn't do it. So I shut everything down. You want refund them? Then I'll slow your money up. Let me tell you something. The minute I refunded them people, bing, 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 bing. Listen, God is a God about principle. God is teaching you will teach you about character, integrity. Your word have to be your word. And this is not a lot of people. Let me just tell you, right? This is not a lot of people. The higher you go, and this is why you can't move like you used to move. And this is why a lot of people fall off, because people want you to do all kind of crazy stuff that you just can't do. They want you to co-sign this. They want you to rob Peter to pay Paul. They want you to move in that mindset, sneaking popcorn in the movie theater. You taking your kids to the movies. You got McDonald's in your big bag, honey. You got juicy juice. You got, ma'am. So it's like, before you get hit with an awakening, it's just like, listen, we're trying to save some money. I got 25 kids. I can't be buying no popcorn just $20 a bucket. Like, seriously? Child, please try that after you get your spiritual awakening. Honey, the minute you're going to try to pop your own popcorn in your microwave, that microwave going to blow up on you. I'm telling you now. You can't move the same way. God will not allow you to move the same way. He teaches you so much principles along the way. This is why people fall off, because you just can't move like that. And they're used to you moving a certain way, and you just can't move like that. If it doesn't agree with my spirit, I can't do it. If I'm convicted about it, I can't do it. Even if I want to do it, I can't do it. I'm convicted. Right? Your word is your word. You say you want to refund these people last week. Refund these people their money. So he is really, really working on you. Seriously, put your buggy back. Put your buggy back, folks. Okay, number 4. Where am I? Number 15. I'm proud of myself. I think I'm doing pretty good with the numbers today. Number 15. Actually, there's only 15. Did I say 16 at the beginning? Did I say 16 at the beginning? I don't even know, but it's 15. Number 15, the last one. This is so important, and this is also partially what I spoke about, what I did earlier today on the video with Shaquille O'Neal and Shawnee. Listen, God will teach you how sacred your union has to be and supposed to be. God will teach you how sacred your union, even if it's just a partnership, He's going to teach you how sacred that thing is. You can't be letting outside people, even your own family, especially if y'all got them toxic mamas, right, trying to tell you what to do, and then their marriage all, right, keep listening. You better let the Holy Spirit teach you if you have not been taught certain things. But you can't have, it's a pact. These marriages, these partnerships, well, marriages in general, right? But it should be, but most times it's not. It's a pact between you and your partner and your spouse. All this outside noise, all these homegirls, you listen, keep people out your house, keep people out your business, and you gotta have each other's back. Like I wouldn't care if I'm in California. Play with my man and I'm hopping on the next flight and I'm gonna check you on sight. Play with it. I don't care if he was wrong, right? I'll deal with him when he get home. But right here, right now, you're not about to play. Don't try me. I will rebuke you on sight. Period. But in all honesty, you gotta, and again, a lot of people don't understand how sacred partnerships and marriages are supposed to be. You got all these outside voices, right? You got all these people giving their inputs. You got people disrespecting your man. And that's what I was saying earlier, again, about the video with Shawnee and Shaq. Listen, dude. You had your chance. You messed up. You're not about to be up in here playing out with my man all kind of way. You're not about to say and jeopardize what I got, that God sent, that I went through a whole process. You're not about to be sitting out playing up in here and jeopardizing. Ain't happening, sir. Ain't happening. See you next lifetime. Period. So those are my 15 things, guys. I don't even know how I'm going to title this video, but I don't know. Oh, it's thundering. I don't know, guys. So you guys have a great one. Comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what y'all. Bye.